book and wax friends. I am Amber. If you're new, welcome back. If you're returning, it's that time of year, you guys. We are halfway through the year, almost halfway. And you know what that means. It's time for the mid-year freak out book tag. Oh my goodness, it's so scary. But yeah, it's the tag that I enjoy doing every year to take into account how my reading has been so far for the first half of 2026. And so let's jump into it. And for sure, feel free down in the comments to leave some of these answers as well, or make your own video. I'll tag a few of you, but if I haven't tagged you, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the tag, because I can't remember everybody. Plus, you know, I just love seeing other people do this tag specifically. It's a lot of fun. So definitely do it and tag me so I can watch your video as well. Or like I said, just leave it down in the comments for me. But let's get to it. Okay, so stats wise, I'll just talk about so far. This number is not accurate at the moment. So far, now that it's mid-June, I've read 52, I think it's 52 books so far in 2026. So I'm doing pretty well. I don't hold myself to any goal. I just read what I want to read when I want to read it. And so far, things are going good. As far as my 25 books I want to read in 2026, my annual TBR, let's take a look at that actually. I'm looking at it real quick on my iPad. I only have I have read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I've read 15 of the 25. And some of them I just ended up DNFing or saying I'm just cutting them off the list because I did attempt them, or they weren't things that were readily available like I thought they would be. And so I only have, that means I only have, I read 15. I was going to say I only have 25, but like I said, I did cut 3 of them. So that means I only have 7 left to read that are on my list. And so, yeah, that's pretty good. So I'm proud of myself. Last year, I might finish my goal, because last year I think I ended up with 5 that I didn't end up reading. So I could do better this year than last year, since I've read so many already so far. Okay, moving on to the questions. So question number 1 is best book you've read so far in 2026. Ooh, this was such a hard one because I have had quite a few standouts. But I had to go with this one. And these, I'm trying to pick answers that are not the same for every question. So I tried to pick different answers, just so you know. So for this, it would have to be The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This is the 3rd book in Mistborn Era 1. So the original trilogy, this is the final book. And I finished it in January, I think it was. And the minute I finished it, I was like, I need to purchase these books because they're so good. So if you're not familiar with Mistborn, it is an epic fantasy that takes place in this world that uses a magic system where you ingest certain metals. If you are a misting or Mistborn, you ingest a certain metal and you're able to use whatever ability that metal gives you. A misting is only able to use one metal, whereas a Mistborn can use all the metals that have magical properties, and each property leads to a different ability. And so this girl named Vin, who is part of this lower class of people, they're pretty much slaves, an enslaved race. she ends up finding out that she is mistborn through various means. She finds it out, and she ends up joining this ragtag group of people that are trying to free the ska, which are the class of citizens that have no rights, and to overthrow the Lord Ruler, which is he's pretty much like a god to this people. He's not really a god, but they look at him as a god because he's an immortal, and they think of him as God. So this group of people are trying to overthrow him and the government and free the Scott people. So it's wonderful. You can stop the series at book 1. It feels like a nice conclusion, but I just say definitely don't, because continuing the series it's going to rip your heart out, but it's, at the same time, you're going to enjoy it. So content-wise, there's only a few minor profanities, very mild from what I can remember. There's no like harsh profanity, and what's in there is very minimal. But there's no intimacy at all. Couple kisses possibly through just the whole series, just a couple kisses. But there is violence in this one. As I said, it's an epic fantasy, has a lot to do with war. For some people, the violence could be too much. I have a very weak stomach. To me, it didn't feel like too much, but there are some intense scenes. So just be aware of that. But I highly recommend this series. It's a great starting place for Brandon Sanderson if you're interested in getting into his Cosmere universe. He has a ton of different fantasy series that all interconnect. It's a great starting point. Or, even though it's not part of this tag, I still want to say, if you aren't wanting to jump in with the series, try Trust of the Emerald Sea or Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. Those are both standalones, and you aren't going to be confused reading them if you haven't read some of his other things. They're a lot of fun too. Those both got 5 stars. Those standalones also got 5. Well, I might have gave Trust 4.5 stars. I still loved it. It was great. Perfect for summer, and Yumi is as well. Yumi was a 5-star. That might have been 4.5. Anyway, they're both wonderful. But for this question, this is my favorite so far this year. So that is The Hero of Ages. Okay, that was question 1. Let's move on. Oh my goodness. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2025. That would have to be Smoke in the Mirrors by Jessica Scarlett. This is the second book in her Slanted London series. Just came out this year. The first book is Town of Shadows, and these are clean fantasy series with a bit of romance in them, and I love them. So these are historical fantasy, so they take place in England, but in a fantasy version of England where there is magic in, for some people in London. Takes place in Victorian times, and magic hasn't been outlawed in that you aren't like hunted down if you're someone that has magic. And it's magic like you have abilities. It's not like witchy cauldron stuff or anything like that. So you have different abilities. Everyone has different abilities, those that do have magic. And if you don't use the magic, or don't get caught using the magic, then that's okay. You can live your life and whatever. But if you get caught seeing that you've used magic, you get executed. And that stems from something that happens in the book in the past, to where they feel like they have no choice. If magic is used, you get executed if the government catches you. So at the beginning of the first book, Dorothy, who does have magical abilities, her and her father are trying to find a way to make it so that people that do have magic will be safe. Trying to create an invention that makes it so the government doesn't have to do that sort of thing, kill people that are good just because they've accidentally used magic or did use magic. And so at the beginning, while they're trying to figure this thing out, her father gets kidnapped. And so she ends up having to join forces with a man named Ashley Gardner to find what happened to him, because he has info that he doesn't necessarily want to share with her, but he came to an agreement with her if she solves these puzzles for him, that he will reveal the identity of this man that is doing the kidnapping type of thing. So it was fun. It was wonderful. The second book, both of these were 5 stars. This one definitely left on a cliffhanger. You're going to want to pick up the second book as soon as you finish this one. And this one does leave on a slight cliffhanger as well, but I don't think it's as intense of a cliffhanger as the first one was. But I loved it. So good. Highly recommend the series if you haven't read it yet. So that is Smoke in the Mirrors. All right. Question number 3 is new releases you haven't read yet, but you want to. I just got this like 2 days ago, you guys. Brighter Than Before by Courtney Walsh. Her newest book. Highly recommend Courtney Walsh's book. The content wise, these are clean as well. I don't know if I said these are clean fantasy romance. I think I said. But anyway, so clean romantic women's fiction type of stories. This one is. But she does have more romance leading books as well. But those are clean. Those are clean too. Closed door. No language. And this one leans more women's fiction, but it also has romance too. And her writing is so witty and funny. You're going to laugh out loud in a lot of parts. You're going to swoon over the romantic moments. And this is about a girl, or I shouldn't even say a girl, because she is like in her 40s. She ends up getting divorced from her husband, who she finds out is not who he said he was, pretty much. And she comes to rediscover herself. She moves to Chicago, is from what I know. And her adult daughter tries to set her up with people to get out there in the dating scene again. And yeah, it's all about her rediscovering herself and what she wants out of her own life. And as I said, there's supposed to be a sweet romance in this too. So Brighter Than Before by Courtney Walsh. So that's a little spoiler to my June book haul, but that's okay. All right, next one is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And no question, I knew what the answer to this one had to be. And it is The Mirror of Infinite Endings by Stephanie Garber. This is her novella that is coming out that is attached to her Once Upon a Broken Heart series. So you do need to read that series before you read the novella. But this is a continuation of what happens after the original trilogy, which if you've been here a while, you know it's like my favorite. It's one of my all-time favorites. I love it so much. And so yeah, that definitely has to be my answer for that question. All right, question number 5 is your biggest disappointment. And that would have to be In Your Dreams by Sarah Adams. This is the 4th and final book, as far as I know. At the moment, anyway, it's supposed to be the final book in her Rome, Kentucky series. It is a contemporary romance series. And Sarah Adams has been known for writing clean romance in the past, but this one was a disappointment plot-wise, but also because she's gotten more and more not clean with her books. Thankfully, she does at the beginning of her books, the last 2 books that she's written that were in the Rome, Kentucky series, she put content warnings, like what to skip as far as open door stuff. So that is appreciated for sure. So I was able to just skip those things. But not only is there open door stuff in it, her profanity in her books has gotten more and more extreme with the most recent books. And so with this one, In Your Dreams, it was disappointing in that way. And then I felt like for being the final book, I would have liked to have seen a little more of some of the other characters, because it's the final in the series. I know it's specifically about Madison and Jason, I think his name is, but I wanted to see more of the other, because we're finishing up the series. I wanted to see a little bit more of the other characters, and a little bit more of the whole restaurant aspect, because in the story it's a brother's best friend trope, and they're old childhood friends as well, and they end up Jason's been in love with Madison forever, and she realizes that she has feelings for him as well, and he ends up opening this like farm to table type of restaurant and wants her to run it. Well, you don't get much in the way of that developing the restaurant or anything like that in it. And so I would have liked a little bit more of that too. So out of all the books I've read so far, that one unfortunately has to be the biggest disappointment for me. And me personally, I don't think I'll ever read any more Sarah Adams books, unfortunately. So that's just me though. So you are welcome to still like them. Just because I don't doesn't mean that you can't. Okay, the next one is question number 6, the biggest surprise so far this year. So that would have to be probably Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. And I would say, just because I'm not a big sci-fi reader, I do really enjoy watching sci-fi movies and shows. I was a Trekkie as a kid. With my family, we would watch Star Trek Next Generation growing up and that sort of thing. And of course, Star Wars and, all the sci-fi things. I've always been a fan of the movies and the TV shows, that sort of thing. But for books, for some reason, I just really can't get into sci-fi, really. I love fantasy, but for some reason, the sci-fi end of it, it's just not something that I gravitate towards. So reading Project Hail Mary, because I wanted to read it before the movie came out, I ended up being pleasantly surprised. It still wasn't a 5-star read for me. I'm pretty sure I gave it 4 stars, which is a great rating. I did love it, but it's not like, whoa, God tier for me or anything like that. I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed the character development. I don't want to spoil anything, just in case you've never read it or seen the movie yet. I enjoyed the character development in it, but it still had quite a bit of like sciencey like talk. And not that I didn't really understand it. It was just like, do I really care that much about it, if that makes sense? Anyway, so that being said, it was my biggest surprise just because of how much I did love it, even though it didn't reach 5-star potential for me. And I did actually cry in the book, so, and in the movie a bit too as well. So anyway, so that is that. The next question, for question number 7, is favorite new author. So it could be new to you or a debut author. For that, I had to go with Beth Brower, who is the author of the Emma M. Lyon series. How could I not choose her? Because I love the series so far. I've only read 3 of the books so far. I'm trying to pace myself just because I know there's supposed to be like 24 books in the series, and there's only 8 out right now, and the 9th is supposed to come out this year sometime. I don't know. That's what I've heard. And so there's still a lot to go. But I love them, and I think everyone should read them. They are all the rage right now. So I'm sure you've heard about the Emma M. Lyon series, but they are journals written by Emma M. Lyon. And she lives in the late 1800s, and she is supposed to inherit her grandmother's house and money when she turns 21. And in the meantime, her cousin by marriage has control of all her assets. And come to find out, he mismanaged her money. And a lot of things happen. So there is some magical realism in this story. You get to come to know a big cast of characters, and they're just wonderful. I love them. They're wonderful so far. So that would have to be my favorite new author, Beth Brower. For question 8 is newest fictional crush. For that, I have to go with Ashley Gardner from the Slanted London series. He's my newest fictional crush, and I do love him so much, and highly, as I said, highly recommend this series. But saying that, Jax, of course, is always my fictional crush as well. So he's one of my ultimate book boyfriends. So from Once Upon a Broken Heart. Okay, next is question 9, newest favorite character. Okay, I would have to go back to a couple books I've already talked about, and that would be the Emma from the Emma M. Lyon series. I just feel like she would be the ultimate BFF. I would love to be her friend. And yeah, she would definitely be one of them. And then the other one would have to be Rocky from Project Hail Mary. And if you know, you know. So I couldn't pick just one. So those two are tied as my favorites. All right, question number 10 is a book that made you cry. I decided to go with Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This one definitely made me cry, definitely made me feel all the things. I loved it. And I highly recommend this series too, or this book. It's not a series. It's about a man named Theo. No one knows where he came from, but he moves to this town of Golden, which is in Georgia, and he starts to change people's lives for the better. And there is a mystery surrounding him. And he just becomes a part of the community and helps a lot of people. So I highly recommend Theo of Golden. Question number 11, a book that made you happy. I decided to go with The Swan's Daughter by Roshani Chokshi. This is the Fairy Loot version of the book. And this is just such a whimsical, magical fairy tale time. So if you're like me and love those types of vibes, I do highly recommend this book. Roshani just has such a wonderful way of writing. Like I said, very whimsical, lyrical, beautiful descriptions. And it's just a good time. It's just wonderful. This is about a girl who is a Veritas swan, which means that she can change into a swan, or she's a magical creature who can change into a swan. Veritas swans can. But she ends up, when she's born, not able to, and she doesn't really know why. And then their voices, Veritas swans, when they sing, they get the truth from whoever they're questioning. and their songs are supposed to be beautiful and wonderful. And when she sings, it does not sound good. And so she still has the ability to get the truth from people when she does sing, but she just does not sound good. So she ends up going to this kingdom where she makes a deal with a prince who is, his family's cursed. So with the curse, the person that marries them, unless they love the person they're marrying, the king that they're marrying or queen, they can end up murdered. The king or queen can end up being murdered by their bride, or, you know. And so he enlists the help of Demelza, who is the Veritas Swan, to figure out who is there for the right reason. There's a contest to win his hand, and with her abilities, they come to an agreement that he can find out who wants to kill him and who's there because they're there for the right reason. So it's a wonderful, like I said, whimsical, magical, such a good time. Content for this, no language, no open door or anything. There's a couple kisses, I think. So I do recommend this book. It was so magical. I loved it. Okay, for the next question 12 is the most beautiful books you bought or received this year. Oh, it's hard to choose. I have a weakness for beautiful books, but if I had to choose one, I think I would go with my Fairy Loot versions of the Caraval series by Stephanie Garber. These are just stunning. I love them so much. So this is artwork by Rosie Thorns. So here's Caraval, and here is what it looks like underneath. And then the end pages, so beautiful. It just makes me so happy seeing this book. This whole series is just so pretty. So that is Caraval. Legendary is the second book. That's what that one looks like. Then we have the sprayed edges, and even the bottom and the top on the edges are, let me show you the inside. There's the naked hardcover and the end papers with Jax. So of course I do like that one. And then the other end paper, and there's the back. So cute. Okay, so that one, I know. It's just an excuse to look at it again. So Finale. So pretty. Okay, let's look. Naked hardcover. And then end paper. I love all the foiling, it's so pretty. And let's look at the back. There's that. And then naked hardcover on the back. And then the novella, the holiday novella Spectacular. That. And then let's look at the inside of this one. So pretty. And then that. And then the inside of this one is super cute. And then the inside of Spectacular is really cute. So it's the sisters and super cute. So anyway, if I had to pick one, and I know technically it's 4 books, but they all came together as a set. So I for sure would have to choose this one. So that is that. Okay, for question number 13 now, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? So as I already mentioned at the beginning, my annual TBR, so the 25 books I do want to read in 2026. I do want to finish up those 7 books that I haven't finished yet. And so I'm planning on getting to those for sure. Question number 14, what books do you want to reread this year? So I am rereading the Anne of Green Gables series. So I am on book number 5. Yes, this is 5, Anne's House of Dreams. So I do want to get to this one still. And then I am also reading Harry Potter. So I am on the 3rd book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. And then, of course, as I mentioned in prior videos, I am also doing another reread of Once Upon a Broken Heart. I did read the 1st book in May, and I think I'm planning on doing August and September for The Ballad of Never After and A Curse for True Love, because as I said earlier, the novella comes out towards the end of September. So I want to have everything fresh in my mind for that. And then next, the last question, question 15, is a book you enjoyed with mixed reviews. So that was kind of a hard one to figure out, but I decided to go with Glorious Rivals, which is by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. That is the 2nd book in the continuation of her Inheritance Game series. It's like I think the series is called Grandest Game, the Grandest Games series, and it is a continuation of the Inheritance Games, and it's gotten mixed reviews. People don't like it as much. I've enjoyed it. I think I rated Glorious Rivals a 4-star, so I did really enjoy it, and I do plan on continuing the series. I think it is just a trilogy, so I just have 1 book left, and I think that comes out this year. I'm not sure if I'll get to it this year, but I know it comes out this year. So, yeah, that would have to do it. So let me know any of the answers to these questions down in the comments. And as I said, I will tag some of you, but if you didn't get tagged, it's not because I don't want to hear your answer. It's because I do. So definitely feel free to do the video yourself if you'd like to. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. Please like and subscribe if you'd like more book and home fragrance content from me. And until next time, you guys, take care. TTFN. Ta-ta for now.